We officially have our first trade off this upcoming offseason where the Memphis Grizzlies, in a surprise move, traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Cole Anthony, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, the 16th overall pick from this year's draft, a first-round draft pick in 2026, which includes swap rights from Phoenix or Washington, a first-round pick in 2028, the swap rights in the first-round draft pick in 2029, top 2 protected, and the first-round pick in 2030. So just very quickly, a generic reaction before we get into the Magic side of things. A very surprising move that came because we thought Desmond Bane was going to be part of a Kevin Durant move. Instead, he is the primary piece being on the move.
Yeah, this Desmond Bane trade was very surprising. It was also a pretty big haul for him. But at the end of the day, Desmond Bane is a great player. He's a career 41% from three-point land. And obviously, he's a very capable defender. He's a strong defender as well. He may be a little bit smaller in height-wise, but he, has a strong physique and he's able to hold his own. And obviously, when you're trying to be a part of the Orlando Magic, you're going to have some sort of good defense because that's what they take pride in. And that's why they're literally a top 3 team defensively in last year's NBA season.
So let's get right into it for the Magic side of things. We'll start off with the Bane's fit. And like you said, Desmond Bane, the surprising move with the haul, for sure. Like, it is kind of like Mikal Bridges-esque in a way. But at the end of the day, like if you're looking about strictly the fit of the player, it fits flawlessly in my opinion. You have a really good backcourt with Jalen Suggs and assuming he's healthy and himself, who are good defensive pieces. Obviously, you have Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and either whoever starts between Wendell Carter, Goga Badatsi, or whatever the case may be, right? There were moments where yes, on the Memphis Grizzlies, he was clearly the number 3 guy behind Ja and Triple J when they were healthy. But there were moments where he was the number 1 guy. Because of that, he should have won MIP the year Ja won, and Ja even knows it himself. But he from 9 points per game, he jumped to 18, 21, 23, and this past year he had 19 as well. And listen, the other reason why he fits very well in the Orlando Magic is the shooting side of things, assuming he does not forget how to shoot the ball, like KCP did. But at the end of the day, like, yes, you gave up a lot. The Phoenix swap, like the Phoenix pick especially, because you don't know how good Phoenix is going to be in the future, because the Kevin Durant trade is looming, right? Maybe we're making a video of that soon after this one. But overall, I like it because, listen, the reason why it was expensive isn't just because of Desmond Bane. The Magic were also trying to get off of KCP's contract, which he has 2 more years remaining, one of them being a player option, which I'm assuming he would have taken.
Desmond Bane is like a much more elevated KCP. He's better at shooting the ball,
creation.
As better at shot creation, because Desmond Bane is not purely, you would say, catch and shoot guy. He's like kind of has some sort of Klay Thompson, where Klay Thompson is able to do his step back threes and stuff. And obviously defensively, they're both they both can hold their own, but when you're looking at it offensively, this team needs such a boost. They needed a third option, right? That's what they were missing. Other than Banchero and Wagner, who both in that Boston series put up like 20-point games, 25-plus point games each, multiple times in that series, but everyone else was literally at single digits, and obviously it doesn't help when Jalen Suggs was injured and who couldn't provide his offensive output in that series as well. But you could tell like Banchero and Wagner were literally the only offense, and it came to a point where like in game 5 they were getting exhausted because they're each chucking up like literally 30 shots a game almost. So Desmond Bane coming in, taking pressure off of them, taking some load off of them, and being able to do and create his own shots and also get some buckets when Banchero's in the post kicking out to someone. And if you're kicking out to someone like Desmond Bane, that's much more better than kicking out someone like KCP.
Well, okay, to be fair to KCP, heading before into this year, like he was supposed to be that guy, right? It's just like this year.
Yeah, I'm not being fair to KCP. This is a big upgrade. This is like
overall player-wise, yes, I agree with that.
The Orlando Magic needed a guy like Desmond Bane, right? As simple as that. And like elite version of that. And Desmond Bane is the elite version of a 3-and-D, I guess, type of player. Obviously, when you're looking at it, like the Orlando Magic, in my opinion, obviously, I know he's much older now, should have gone after Klay Thompson, for sure, in my opinion, right? But obviously, he went to Dallas. Desmond Bane provides provides the same value that Klay Thompson did for the Golden State Warriors before all his injuries. Obviously, not as much to that extent because Klay Thompson was literally a perennial all-star at that time. But Desmond Bane provides all those qualities that the Orlando Magic need. So trading for Desmond Bane is the perfect fit. And obviously, we're going to look into the Memphis part of it later. But when you're looking at the player and the fit, like you said, it's perfect because one, they needed more shooting, and two, they needed a third option.
He's pretty much doing what he did in Memphis now in Orlando. And you could say, like, out of the two teams combined, Banchero was the best player when it comes to, like, overall ability, right? Like, I love Jaw, don't get me wrong, but, like, Jaw's injury status hasn't been the greatest. Legal status also hasn't been the greatest as well. And, like, listen, Triple J had a really good year as well. I would say he's an even par or slightly better than Wagner for sure. But, like, Desmond Bane as a clear number 3 on this team as well. It's like, it's going to be... should be levels above what they had in the past, like you said. So that being said, with the Magic overall, let's look at it. What they need. What else do they need? Clearly the offense, right? Because some Magic fans I was looking at it before we started recording, like some were fine with this trade. They're not happy with the haul because, like, with this haul, you said they could have gone like a guy like Trae Young, a guy like LaMelo Ball, for example, who was potentially going to be available. Kevin Durant, which
himself,
but like I doubt, like they should have, honestly, because, like, at the end of the day, Kevin Durant, even if it's for a rental, with next year how the East is wide open, it would have been perfect for them. They went with the guy with the longer contract. They made their first move as well. What else do they need? Clearly, they still need someone. I think they could upgrade their center position, because at the end of the day, yes, 4 first-round picks is a lot. 5th being the swap, but they still have some assets that can still move if they are gonna make further moves, right? Like, you still have Jonathan Isaac and his contract. Yes, he's a defensive monster when he's on the court. You still have young guys like Tristan de Silva. You still have Gary Harris's contract if you need to, a couple million there. Anthony Black, Jet Howard. These guys are still there. So if you guys need to make a further move, whether that be someone as, like, not as at the level of LaMelo and Trae, but a guy like Anthony Simons who might be on the move from Portland, for example, you could still do that and upgrade that way. But, like, do they really need to get another guard position? If they already got in, if they already got Desmond Bane? No, but, like, Jalen Suggs was injured last year, and are you going to put the full trust in Jalen Suggs being your go-to point guard? I'm fine with it. I understand he got a big contract, but he's still very good defensively, and we saw in Gonzaga how good of a playmaker he can be, and he's an improved three-point shooter as well. So they still have a little bit of, like, flexibility if they want to make more moves. That being going into next season.
Yeah, of course, they do still have more assets, and, like, with the East being open, I think they should be definitely exploring, in my opinion. But, like, I'm just gonna get this, like, clear this point up right away. Any level-headed Magic fan or level-headed NBA fan / I guess analyst should 100% agree with what I'm about to say. Desmond Bane is a perfect fit for the Orlando Magic. The haul for Desmond Bane is definitely, obviously, something you should be upset about if you're a Magic fan. So, like, when you're looking at it, like what you said, like, some like the trade because obviously you have Desmond Bane, some hate it because of the haul you gave up. That is honestly, in my opinion, such a fair reaction. But at the end of the day, I think Orlando fans should be excited to see
them making moves.
Yeah, like, one, making moves, but two, these 4 players essentially in their starting lineup are legit starters in this league, right? Yeah. And they're all younger, so they're gonna be here and they're gonna keep playing for a while. So, like, when you're looking at it and you're looking at potential upgrades, obviously I'm be more looking towards the center position, in my opinion.
You're expecting Banchero to take another Anthony Edwards type step where he could be in the conversation. Is he a superstar? Like, we have those debates all the time. Franz Wagner has the potential of being a perennial all-star. Now you bring in Desmond Bane. Those picks, right, outside of the Phoenix, obviously the Phoenix one, you're hoping it to be, you're expecting them to be a good team, right? You know, you're kind of a quote-unquote Magic fan now.
I was high on the Magic, yeah.
Like, those picks should be relatively in the 20s. Yes, Desmond Bane was a late pick. You don't want to give up too many picks like that either, because at the end of the day, a guy like Desmond Bane is available, right? Guys like Tyrese Maxey, guys like who went in the second round, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, look, you expect not every late first-round pick will hit, like at the level of Desmond Bane or at the level of Tyrese Maxey or whatever the case may be, right? So at the end of the day, if the pick doesn't hit, then you look at this trade, and especially if Bane doesn't perform, yes, you lost the trade immediately, right? And we'll get into our winner or loser at the end, before we get into the Memphis side of things. So overall, like, yeah, if the picks, if the best case scenario, house of positivity happens, the pick should be late 20s. And you'll be fine with that because Banchero's still young. Yes, he's gonna get his rookie extension now, right, for his contract. Franz Wagner is really young and good as well. You're expecting Desmond Bane to be good. and other pieces you have around that either you upgrade or you develop within. Like, clearly, you have a really good coach in Jamal Mosley. You took another step this year. Yes, offensively, you shot the bed as the season went on. But next year, with a wide open East, Magic fans should be happy.
Yeah, 100%. Because when you're looking at it, you like with Jalen Suggs fitting in perfectly, and him, if he could like establish his facilitating slash 3-and-D role combo like that as a point guard for him, and him being healthy is gonna be obviously very important. That's like a perfect fit around the three main scoring options on this team, which is obviously Banchero, Wagner, and now Desmond Bane. So when you're looking at it, obviously when it's gonna be looking for upgrade personally, obviously is gonna be the big man in my opinion. And like that big man, like it could be a guy like, I guess, a Miles Turner type player, right?
He's
Stretch
probably
big,
re-signing, but yeah.
right? Like obviously when you're looking at stretch big is obviously important, but like if you get like a pure rim protector, I still think that will work. I know Wendell Carter has, is a good defensive player himself, but overall when you're looking at it, the only issue I have with this trade is just that like, you got the right player, you got it for the wrong price, in my opinion. And that's what's kind of going to hurt you, because now that you bring in, like with that package, you could have brought in someone better. Like that's the only thing that's like kind of getting me like now, like, okay, you got Desmond Bane, but like how else are you going to really upgrade the roster? In my opinion, the only way you could do is if you upgrade the main forward, but that's going to be obviously more down the line. That's not going to be immediate. Yeah. Because like at the end of the day, like you gave up a bulk of your picks when guys like Giannis could be available, Kevin Durant could be available. Right?
He is available.
Kevin Durant is available, right? So like they could have taken a bigger step, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy that they still took a step nonetheless.
Yeah. We'll get into that side of the things, what this trade means for other trades. But before we go on to the Memphis Grizzlies side of things, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. This is the first of many trades. We're expecting a Kevin Durant trade to happen. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell so you don't miss a video like that. Like this video and comment down below other trades or anything else you want to see. And what do you guys think of this trade as well? Memphis Grizzlies, they were on the market to get a guy like Mikal Bridges for this package, essentially. Instead, it got reversed and they took the trade. For me, before I get into the breakdown of it, yes, it sucks losing Desmond Bane. He was maybe your main chip for a guy like Kevin Durant, and we'll get into that if that can still happen. At the end of the day, if like as much as he's beloved in Memphis, I'm glad they did this trade because like you cannot say no to this package.
You can't. You generally can't say it. The package is way too much to pass up on. Like you're gonna have 4 first-round picks, and it doesn't mean you have to use them for 4 first-round picks.
There could be future assets for them.
They could use that in a Kevin Durant trade still, right? And like at the end of the day, the Suns are making it clear they want to rebuild around Booker still. And for me, when I'm looking at it, emphasis around rebuild. And when you're rebuilding, you're gonna be either acquiring young high potential players or as many picks as you possibly can, which is what the OKC Thunder did, right? So the Memphis Grizzlies are not, in my opinion, shouldn't be. And I think are not out of this off-season's trade market at all, in my opinion, because of this package they received. So
let's talk about the package first very quickly before we get into what do we think is going to happen with this team. Are they in a rebuild or not? We'll see that. KCP, obviously really 2 good years in Denver. Ever since the LA championship, he was really good. 3-point percentage was good. It was in the 40s with Denver. He got a deserved payday, in my opinion, of what he did in Orlando. It's just like all of a sudden he shot from 40% to 34%, and that can't happen. And it took a step back. So if they're not going to flip him, let's just say for right now. And same thing with Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony, yes, he may have not been like the Cole Anthony we may have thought coming from college. Yes, he wasn't like I don't think he was a lottery pick. I believe he was like just outside the lottery. But like we still thought good backup point guard for them.
He was great in media though.
Yeah, that's the funny part. But at least you still have a decent backup point guard, shooting guard with Scottie Pippen Jr. there if you're keeping the current team. KCP, yes, this is still a prime spot for him to bounce back because, again, Ja's going to attack if they're not making moves here, Ja's going to attack the paint. Who's going to be open? KCP, right? So the fit may be better for him here than it was maybe Orlando, as much as we thought. So he could still bounce back. And again, you have a good backup point guard. That being said, though, you already alluded to that they could still use these assets to get Kevin Durant and whoever else might be available. But the ultimate question is, it's still kind of weird for Memphis. They're in a weird spot because you already moved up from Taylor Jenkins. You got Tom Izzo as your head coach permanently now. what's gonna happen with Ja and Triple J? Like, are they happy at the moment? Or are they not? Jaren Jackson Jr. is up for an extension this year. Ja's gonna be up for an extension in a couple of years, right? What if Triple J says, "I want out"? Now what? Now, yes, you have the assets right now. Do you just pounce on a rebuild right now and move on from one or both of these guys and be like, all right, let's just go full on reset and go from there?
You got to do everything in your power to protect and keep Ja Morant. It's as simple as that, because Ja Morant at the end of the day is the franchise guy for this team. He is the guy that they will market around and actually attract fans who come to the games because of his freakish athletic ability that he has, essentially. And obviously, when you're looking at, so if that doesn't necessarily, because I said that doesn't necessarily mean if they do move on from Triple J, they have to move on from Ja, right? Like, in my opinion, you do whatever it takes to keep Ja Morant.
I think you keep both.
Yeah, no, but like, in my opinion, if I'm going to pick one, you do whatever it takes to keep Ja Morant. Obviously, you do whatever it takes to keep both, because one, them both, as when they're both on their game, this team's good.
Yeah,
this team's good, right? Obviously, you have Triple J's defensive ability, and you have both of them with his stretch big ability, and then you have Ja's attacking the rim ferociously many times. So when you're looking at that combo works perfectly because they are able to create space for each other offensively, because Triple J is able to stretch the floor and allows Ja to attack the rim more. So obviously that duo, you got to do whatever it takes to protect it, but more so you got to do whatever it takes to, in my opinion, to protect Ja Morant.
But the question marks for both of these guys, especially for Ja, is that health status, right? It's better than what we were seeing from Zion, right? Because Zion might be moved as well.
Yeah.
So like, I guess that's where they're gonna look at it. Like they have options now, right? They could either try to get assets, they either stay the same and still be competitive. But if they stay the same, they're not gonna really go anywhere. They're gonna be stagnant, or they go rebuild.
They're at the end of the day, like, if they go into the next season with this roster that they have now, it's gonna be similar results as last year, maybe a little bit worse, just because I believe in, obviously, they technically got a little bit worse by losing Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
And which obviously makes sense. You traded there's a reason why Orlando gave you 4 first-round picks, because they wanted that good of a player in return. And Desmond Bane is that good of a player. So when you're in the Western Conference especially, you're going to have to be aggressive, especially if you want to take the next step.
Yeah.
And what's going to keep Ja and Triple J happy is if you win basketball games. And being in the West, it's going to be tough to do that with this current roster. So that's another reason why I don't think rebuild is an answer for these guys, unless obviously they trade one of the dual pieces. But they can't rebuild, because if they do take that option, then definitely one of those two pieces are going to be gone in Ja or Triple J. So when I'm looking at it, they shouldn't be out of this market in the offseason. And like, they just can't afford to be, because if they're in the West, you're going to have to find a way just to stay competitive, right? Like, even if you make the play-in spot, which is going to be very difficult to do, to make a play-in spot, you still have a chance of, progressing in the playoffs, because literally from 1 to 10 is so competitive. Obviously,
1 to like 12.
2 to 12, because obviously OKC did their thing this year. But that's the thing with the Memphis Grizzlies, because this is a team we're trying to look at to take the next step, right? And you're not, right now, they took a step. And like, don't get me wrong, like, I want to say no to the package, but it's not going to get it done for them.
Here's the thing. That's the thing. You're looking at it also a business perspective to get asses to seats, essentially, because that's what they think. When I'm saying rebuild, I'm not saying you trade one of them. I'm saying they've just reset, trade both of them, get as many assets as you can. Like OKC did. Yes, you had a building block around Shea. Maybe they have a building block around a guy like Jalen Wells there, Zach Edey, whatever the case may be. And you just, hopefully in a couple of years, get that move. It's a risky move. I'm not saying they should do that.
Here's the thing, but like, getting a building block is so difficult, right?
Yeah.
The reason why they pulled that trade for Paul George is because Shea is that guy, right?
But at the time, he was not that guy.
Look, Shea had a great rookie year, right?
But it wasn't like he was going to be franchise player rookie year, though.
At the end of the day, like, there was potential, right? And they took that risk because, one, Westbrook and George weren't getting it done. As simple as that. And they're also getting up there in age, right? Whereas obviously you get that haul and you get a literal building block in Shea who's a rookie, right? So that's the main thing. Ja Morant is not super old.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Ja Morant is already the building block. And I know the injuries are a big concern, but at the end of the day, getting a building block is very difficult.
Yeah.
And when you already have one, you got to do everything you can to protect it.
And you
it's
have
just
the
simple
picks,
as that.
and they're a really good developmental team as well. So can they
Yeah.
flip those picks and get someone either better? Can they flip those picks to get more picks? We will see with that. But yeah, Memphis, listen, they have a lot of options. I don't want to speculate too much. We'll see which route they take. I will not be surprised if they do. If the players especially want out and they rebuild, if they just choose to rebuild, do they get competitive? Do they stay the same? At the end of the day, as of right now, if the current roster stays, I still think they'll be competitive. Will they be locked for a play-in or playoff spot? Hell no, because they did get worse. But we'll see how that goes. So before we close it out here and get to our winners and losers, I do want to talk about the open trade market right now. This package has a lot of people concerned that like, oh, Kevin Durant's price went up. Oh, this Cam Johnson's price went up and all that stuff, right? Do you look at it that way? Because like for me, I can't use it as the same because A, Orlando did it to get off the books of KCP as well. But B, at the end of the day, you could say teams want that package, but we saw what Luka went for. It was pennies compared to this, right? So,
Trade scenarios are different in each trade, right? Like when you're looking at it, Mikal Bridges and Desmond Bane were similar type of players, and they went for a similar type of package. Kevin Durant's not a similar type of player, and he's also hell a lot more older as well. So when you're looking at it, I don't think his price went up. I think at the end of the day, it's still gonna take a couple first, in my opinion, to get Durant.
Like at the end of the day, he's still, in my opinion, when healthy, a top 10 player.
Yeah, like 100%. He is, Like it's still gonna take a couple first and like a solid player to still get Kevin Durant. Like I don't think that's gonna change. Even when he's at 37 years old. So obviously when you're looking at it, Giannis is gonna like take this type of haul, but like add like in like two more good solid young players in the package as well. But when you're looking, in my opinion, I don't think Kevin Durant's price has changed just because it's already still going to be a decently hefty price just to get him.
It's funny because like people like look at the Luka trade and be like, oh, we could get Giannis, finesse a Giannis trade.
You can't.
But then people are like, oh, we got Desmond Bane, and these teams like the Nets, for example, with Cam Johnson, who's in the similar tier as, in my opinion, as Desmond Bane and Mikal Bridges, like, oh, we could do the same thing. It depends. You have to find maybe a right guy to finesse, like kind of like when Nico Harrison kind of got finessed, or like you need to find a way to like, hey, you know what, this guy will make our team better. We just got to do it at the end of the day. Not to drag this out too much, but that's what it is. Scenarios are different.
Scenarios are different.
You could use that. You could use that, like how players use their contract leverages. Like, oh, if this guy got this much money, I want this much money.
Yeah, obviously you could use it, but like, let's get this straight. Sometimes teams get desperate, and when you're desperate, they make stupid decisions. You got
to see how many bidders are there, what the player situation is. We know he's
it's
being
generally
traded.
different, bro. Like Kevin Durant is probably available to every NBA team.
Yeah.
Right. But obviously, not every NBA team is going to bid on him. But when you're looking at it, like, I think people overreact to this type of stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, because like obviously you could look at the cat trade too, right? So there's a lot.
I think people just overreact.
Like, it depends on what the player wants to do. Like Kevin Durant saying, I'm not going to sign here long term, so that changes people's minds as well, right? So at the end of the day, that's all it is. But before we close it out here officially, winners and losers from this trade, I'm going to say it this way. This is one of those things is to be determined, because I feel like both teams are a winner in a sense that one team got a good haul, one team got a player that upgrades their roster right now, or even in the future for need. If I really had to pick one, I will give Memphis the win, like 51 to 49%, because of the haul. That's mainly it.
If I would do a trade grades, I'll probably give the Memphis Grizzlies.
I would give them an A for the haul.
I would give them literally an A for the haul, but obviously I'm gonna bump it down to a B just because obviously they lost Desmond Bane. Whereas when I'm looking at the Orlando Magic, I'm probably gonna give them like a C minus, but when I'm looking at they got Desmond Bane and looking at the fit, I'm obviously gonna bump it up to like a C plus, and like that's why I think it's like super close. So like when you say it's gotta be to be determined, that is very accurate just because the fit is so perfect, but obviously the haul is obviously a lot. So when you're looking at it, you gotta look all the way like 5 years down the line and what these picks turn out to be as well.
I'm not gonna go as low as a C minus.
No, but like initial when looking at the haul, but like I said, the haul brings it down to a C minus. But with Desmond Bane being, I would say like, when I'm looking at the fit, brings it up to C plus. So my grade is C plus.
I would still not even give it. I would still give it a B
or like a B minus, right? C plus, B minus. Right. For me, that I'm not saying it's the trade's a C minus for them. Yeah. Right. I'm just saying you got to look at both aspects.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So it's all determined.
I wasn't saying C minus.
Okay.
Bro.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
bro, I didn't say that at all.
To be determined is definitely the case. Yeah. If I were to go if I have to, gun to my head, make an initial reaction, Memphis slightly because of the haul.
Like that.
And I would give them an A minus, and I would give the Orlando Magic right now a BB plus, just because at the end of the day,
I can't.
it's still matched
I
up.
can't give anyone an A, bro. I just generally can't because there's genuine
Too many moving factors.
Yeah, but there's a genuine weakness to each package in my opinion. But there's also a genuine obviously a pro for each team as well.
But yeah, comment down below what you guys think of this trade. If you're a Memphis Grizzlies fan and an Orlando Magic fan, we would like to hear what your thoughts on it below. Do you love this trade? Do you hate this trade for your respective teams? If you're a neutral fan, we would love to hear from you as well. A video is popping up right now. Make sure you guys click on that video. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.